everybody. Looks like I'm live. Hopefully everything's working. Let me know if you can't hear me. Let me pop my YouTube chat up here. Okay, so hopefully I'll remember to keep getting that on. So welcome. Hope you're having a great Friday, getting ready for your weekend. Looks like we're going to have a beautiful one here in Indiana. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I've got a new stamp set, a new bundle actually, from the annual catalog that I'm going to showcase today. I actually just got this one last week. I didn't get it with my first pre-order, thinking I don't think I really need that stamp set. And the more I looked at it, I couldn't resist, and I got it, and I'm so glad I did. I'm having so much fun with it. I made 3 cards with it, and I'm going to show you real quick how to make those. I got a few things I want to go over quick. If you're on YouTube and you do any chatting, I'll try my best to answer those questions. If I don't get to them during the video or respond to them during the video, please come back to the video and look under the regular comments. YouTube's got it set up so I can't go in and make any comments once the video's over. So if you're on YouTube, you can chat. Like I would love for you to chat with me. I'll try my best to see them. If I don't see them, I'll answer them in any of your questions after the video. It'll be in the regular comment section, and I'll pin them to the top so you can find them quickly, and I'll even put your name in so you can see that it's your answer. Those who are on Facebook, it's super easy. Just comment below. I'll try my best to see them if I don't see them again, because a lot of times it's so hard to remember to look at my screens when I'm making my card. So just comment below, and I'll answer the question as soon as the video is over, right underneath your comment. Okay, like I said, I'm making something with the Blossoms in Bloom bundle. It is such a really nice bundle. I like it a lot. I'll show you that here in just a minute. Hi, Karen from Scotland. Oh boy, welcome. Glad you're here. Okay, I'm going to switch. I'm going to go over a couple little things real quick, and then we'll get to the stamping. Don't forget about the Share Sunshine paper pumpkin. You've got till June 10th to subscribe to that, and it goes along with the Share Sunshine. Boy, that's hard to say fast. The Share Sunshine thing that's going around with COVID here in the U.S. I don't know if it's in the other countries or not. But yeah, the paper pumpkin just looks really, I love the yellow in that, and I can't wait to see what's in that kit. And if you want it, make sure you subscribe super quick. I've got the link to just click on the subscribe to paper pumpkin link below in the video description, and you can get subscribed. And the one this month, that's what I was going to say. The one this month in May actually sold out before May 10th. So make sure you subscribe as soon as possible, just in case this might do the same thing. I have to admit, that was the first time that happened, but paper pumpkin has been so good here lately. It's very easy for that to go away. I'm going to do a new catalog virtual open house next week. The new catalog starts June 3rd. Yay! You'll be able to start ordering then too, and I'm going to be able to order more stuff. We only had a list of stuff that we could pre-order. Best pre-order we've ever had, by the way. I love just about everything on that list. What I'm going to do, I have started a new Facebook group for my USA customers and my downline, the people that are part of my Friendly Stampers team. So the reason I have to keep it to USA customers, that's per Stampin' Up rules. I'm not allowed to sell to anyone out of the country. So just USA customers only, and the only demonstrators that are able to be in this group are the ones that are on my Friendly Stampers team, not my downline. If you join that, and I've got a link to that group down below. I haven't done a lot on that group yet, but it'll start up here in the next few days, with June 3rd being the big day that I really do a lot of stuff on. I'm going to do Facebook Lives of different cards I've made with the stuff I have now. It should be a lot of fun, and I'll have some door prizes and things like that. So I'd love for you to attend. You just click on that group link below in the video description and ask to join and answer those questions. I do need you to answer the 3 questions I've got on there, and then I'll let you in. Okay, now there are June is a big month. We have got a really nice pick a free bundle. Like I said, in my group, I'm letting in my downline also. I would love for you to join my team, and it is a great time to join. I'm so glad they're doing this. You get to pick any free bundle in the new annual catalog added to your starter kit. For $99, you already get the $120 up to $125 in current Stampin' Up product, plus a pack of around $50 worth of business supplies. So that's an 8-pack of catalogs, everything you need to get started. It's already a good deal, but you're also going to be able to pick out any bundle that you want in the catalog, and the highest priced one is $60.25. So that is a great deal. All our bundles are great. So it's any of the ones that have a stamp set and punch or a stamp set and die set. So very, very good deal. I'm excited about that one. And one more really fun thing is going to start June 3rd too. If you shop or host in June, you could get more free goodies. If your order is $250 or more before shipping and tax, you get $25 added to what you already get from Stampin' Up. It is a very good deal. So a $250 order normally gets you $25 worth of product. That's going to double your product. And then anything after that, you just add $25 to it, and that's what you'll get free. You can either do it as a personal workshop by just placing a $250 order yourself and get all the benefits, or I can do a workshop for you that's either catalog or online orders. It doesn't have to be a party. You just collect orders and have them place their orders online using your host code, or a virtual Facebook party, which is going to be kind of like what my virtual open house is going to be next week. So if you want to check out how I do those, you can join that group. Okay, I think we are ready to do some stamping. I'm super excited. If you're joining late, you can watch the beginning of the video once the video's over. I'm having trouble thinking of my words today. My goodness, I hope I get better here. But if you come in late, you can watch the beginning of the video later. And if you're watching the recording, please do comment below still, and I'll be coming back periodically and I'll answer your questions then. So let me switch. We're going to start making cards. This is the fun part of the my video, I mean. Let me get my chat back up. Okay. Now, I am going to make a gatefold card first. Let me show you the bundle first. My goodness, I've been rushing around today. It's also laundry day. Laundry day wears me out. There is that bundle. This is one die set. So you get 2 large dies. Oh, you could actually layer these. And the 2 cards that I'm doing, I'm not layering. I meant to do that, but I can show you just stacking them up. You can see how it's got a little, this is like an outline die, and this is it's a bolder one, and you can line those up with a different color underneath. So I'll have to make a card like that, and I'll post that later. But that's so cool. And then you've got this neat stamp set that goes perfectly with the dies. Can't beat that. So this is the Blossoms and Bloom. This will be available June 3rd. I'm also using these dies. I am using these all the time now. These are the, I can never remember, Tasteful Labels dies. And these are also in the new annual catalog. So they'll be available June 3rd too. And I'm using the Ornate Floral embossing folder. You've seen me use this a lot. I've been watching my videos. Love this, and you'll see that on some cardstock. It'll show up a lot better in the cardstock. This one you can actually purchase now. It is brand new in the catalog, but they gave us, let us be able to order stuff from this suite early, so you can get this now. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of Highland Heather. This is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece. This is the gatefold card. Bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to use the scoring tool. The dark one is the cutting one, so I'm going to get that out of the way because I don't want to cut by accident. This is the scoring one. And what I want to do with the 8.5 inch side along the top, I want to score at 2 1/8 inches. Do that a couple times. Turn it around and do it 2 1/8 again. So you're going to do 2 1/8 inches on both sides. Okay. I don't know if you can see the score lines, but that's going to make it super easy for me to fold. Get that out of the way. And you want to do, it's backwards when you do the scoring. This is a valley, and the mountain is what's going to be inside. So I'm going to grab my bone folder. There we go. So we've got that ready to go. So that's the actual base of the gatefold. Super easy. It's just another way to make fold your card. Now I'm going to grab a piece of Whisper White. This is a 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. And if you've watched any of my videos here, last couple of videos, I had been saying that the Stampin' Pierce mat was not going to be in the annual catalog and it was sold out. Well, Stampin' Up realized how much we still need this. So it's going to be available again. I'm so excited. So you won't see it in the actual catalog, but you will be able to order it. You can see it in my online store for sure, but I'll let you know when it is available again. They're waiting on a supply to come in. And you definitely need these with the photopolymer. Now with this card, I'm not going to use the dies. I'm just going to use this big stamp here. I'm going to grab the Highland Heather ink, ink it all up with Highland Heather. This is the lighter purple. I'm not going to worry about that little mark. It'll be okay. It's far enough away, I don't think it'll be a problem. And then I'm bringing in Gorgeous Grape. I decided I wanted the centers to just be a little darker. So I'm going to get some Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to pounce just on the center part. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but that, I think you can. You can tell that that's gotten a little darker there in the middle. I'm only doing it in the middle. So this will give you a two-tone effect. And I love the detail in this. I can't remember if it's a distinctive, but it sure stamps like a distinctive. It'll give different shadings. There, we've got that dark purple. Oh, that looks pretty cool. I just looked at my screen. I wasn't sure. Sometimes I never know if it's going to show up very well. I'm going to turn this over. I actually want to do it this way. I want to make sure I'm thinking right. Oh, no, I do want to do it this way. I'm going to angle it just a little bit. Make sure I kind of center it. There we go. Hold it down for a few seconds. I'll make sure the ink gets soaked in. There we go. Now, just in case, I'm afraid my tablet's messing up on Facebook. If you are making comments, I'm not seeing them right now. So don't worry, I'll make sure I check them at the end. My tablet tends to do that sometimes. I never know if it's working. Aggravating. I think we have to get a new one. Okay, now I'm going to do the centers. Now, let me find the stamp here. This one is actually like a little leaf stamp, but I decided to use it to color in the centers a little bit. And I'll show you how to do it. Since it's just like a textured type thing, it is too small for this center. I'm going to stamp it a couple times, probably even re-ink it a little bit until I get that filled in the way I want it. You can also just take a marker and color it in, but I liked having that textured look because I wanted to kind of match the rest of the flower. Let's make that one angle this way. So this may not have been what it was intended for. I like it when I come up with different ways to use it. And I'm sure there are others that have thought of this already. But this is with Daffodil ink. I think I forgot to tell you that. This is the Daffodil Delight ink pad. And if you just want a small center in the middle, you can do that too. So now I've got all those colored in. Isn't that a pretty watermark? I love that. Doesn't have a lot of detail to it, but I think it's gorgeous. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this off because I'm going to need it. I'm going to stamp it a few times for another color here in a minute. Okay, now we need, let's see, I want to grab my big leaf. And we're going to use Granny Apple Green, one of my favorite greens. It's such a bright green. Hi, Susan. So I've got all over Florida and Scotland. Okay, now I'm looking at my cheat sheet. There we go. I thought that's where I wanted to leaf. I'm going to put a leaf right here. One down here. And I think I'm going to put another one around here. There we go. So we've got the Granny Apple Green. Since I'm only using one stamp this time around, I'm going to have to do some cleaning in between. Okay, now I want to grab Coastal Cabana. I want to make, really all these are kind of bright. The middle ones may not be as bright. This is the brightest card. I love the colors with this. This is, oh, thank you, Susan. I'm glad you like that. I'm going to grab one of the small flower stamps. Make sure I get the right one. Oh, I think this is the one I want to use. And I'm going to stamp a Coastal Cabana one. Hopefully I'm getting a good spot. I don't want to get my head in the way. You don't want to see my head. You just want to see what I'm stamping. There we go. And let's put another flower there. That looks pretty good. Okay, I can't remember if I need this one again, so we'll clean this up. The last thing I want to do is not clean it up and then get my inks all mixed up. Ooh, I'm going to need that yellow one again. I forgot about that. I wanted flower centers on these Coastal Cabana ones too. So I'm going to grab that little leaf one again. Now this one I don't think I have to stamp twice. It's pretty good size for, and it is a little longer than your openings, but it's okay. It still looks good. So now we've got those colored in. That's all the yellow. Well, that's all the yellow for now. I'll leave that open. Then we need, I think that's all that is all the stamping I'm going to do. Now, since this is a gatefold card, I'm like, okay, I can't just put that on there. It's not going to work. So this is what I did. This is being a 4 by 5 1/4, so the halfway point would be 2 inches. So I'm going to grab my cutter again. This time I want to use the cutting blade, so it's the dark one I want to use. Cut this in half at 2 inches, like so. And then I'm going to put that, attach it right to the front of my card. Making sure you don't put it on upside down because you want them to meet right. So that's the way I want them to meet. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put, actually it might be easier if I do it this way. The first one, I think it's easier to be able to see the edge if you open it up. I want to line the right edge with the right edge of that flap, like so. And then you can go ahead and close this up. Put some snail on this. And the snail is retiring, by the way. I can't remember the name of the new one. Something seal. I'll have to look that up again. But I want to line these up and make sure that that edge is right with the edge of the flap. Edge of the flowers with the edge of the flap. Have them meet up. There we go. And that's my front. So when it's closed, it's like this, and you open it up. Now we are going to put an inside to this because I'm like, oh, it needs more than that. But right now we're going to hurry up and do a greeting thing. Grab a scrap piece of white. I'm going to grab my gorgeous grape again. Now all the greetings I'm using are also in this blossoms in bloom. I have been mixing those two words up together all day, typing stuff, forgetting the name of it. There we go. As you notice, I didn't use my Stampin' Pierce mat, forgot to grab it, but since it was just words, we're okay. Normally with the photopolymer, you definitely want to have that extra padding, but that worked out fine. Okay, now this is going to be die cut with one of these. I'm going to use this big circle one. This is one I haven't used yet. So I was real excited to use that. I'm also going to be using this one with this card. But what I did is you center that in your die and die cut it. And then you take a scrap piece of Granny Apple Green and do this banner. And then you run it through your die cutting machine. And you will come out with, oops, where'd they go? There we go. This and this. I'm going to get this closer. Hopefully you can see it. But it's got some little stitching, little zigzag stitching that goes along with the zigzag. So I'm not sure if that's showing up. But it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and stick this on here. Let's go ahead. Oh, I take that back. I forgot. I wanted this to be a longer. There wasn't much of that green showing on each end, and I wanted it to be a little longer. Almost forgot this step. I'm going to cut this in half. Put a little bit of adhesive here on the end, like so. And then I'm going to stick it on the back of here. I want it to be a little longer. Kind of lining it up with the thinking of you. So there's that end. Do the same thing with this one. So you're actually putting adhesive on the top. You probably can't tell this in there either. There's a stitch around this. You can tell which is the right side. This one doesn't have as much, you can't see the stitching very well. You actually want to put the adhesive on the top, not the back. So you're going to think opposite of what you normally do. Put some snail there on the end. And there we go. So you can adapt to make them as long as you want. So I'm glad you like that, Susan. That's a lot of, I like doing that a lot. I do that with a lot of things, making them a little bit larger. Now I'm going to put this right smack dab in the middle. I do not want adhesive on this side because that's going to make this thing stay shut. We don't want that. We want it to open up like this. So I'm going to make sure, put my finger here so I remember what side, because it's very easy to get confused when you turn it over, what side you want the glue on. So this one where my finger's at, this is the side I want to have some glue on. So I'm going to put some on the banner and just a little bit, just a half, little to the, not all the way to the halfway mark, a little inside. That way in case I don't get it right in the middle, I'm not going to have adhesive hanging over. Lay this down, about right there. That looks pretty good. And now all my adhesive is underneath there, so I don't have to worry about that. So there's the front, and I thought, oh, it needs something more. So I'm getting the Daffodil Roost ribbon. This was in the mini catalog, and it's also going to be in the new catalog. I'm so glad. I love this. We needed a good Daffodil Delight ribbon. So I'm going to just tie this in a single knot, like so. Grab a glue dot. And I keep the glue dot on my paper here, and then just push the ribbon on, and then pick it up, and that glue dot is on the ribbon. I don't have to worry about it sticking to my fingers. And I'm going to put that right about here. Once it's on here, I'm going to trim it because it's a little longer than I'm wanting it. So we'll kind of go and do it at an angle. And we'll have the front of this card done. We still need to do the inside though. So I'm thinking, oh, that just looks too bland to open it up and there's nothing there. So we're going to grab a piece of Whisper White. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to bring in, oh, there it is. I'm throwing stuff around again. It's hard to find everything. Grab my 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to stamp some flowers. So I'm going to grab one of the little flowers. There are 2 of them. They're both, the other one's a little different. It's like a little flatter on one side. But I want the full one. And I want my Highland Heather ink. I'm going to put a flower here in the corner. And I'm going to turn this around because I kind of want a mirror image. And one up here. So we can go ahead and leave it that way. I'm going to add some leaves to it. So bring in the Granny Apple Green again. And this time, oh, I forgot to clean it. I'm going to use this as my leaf instead of the center. The way it was supposed to be used. And I'm going to put leaf here, right there. That one leaf that was the bigger leaf that I used on the front, I thought was a little too big for these little guys. Put one here. And a couple down here, and we'll have all the leaves on. And then I'm going to have to clean this off because I want to do those centers. So I am using this little guy a lot. That stamp is coming in real handy. Okay, grab my Daffodil Delight. Stamp my centers. And we are ready. Oop, I got a little green on there. That's all right. And get this one shut. And then we're going to put this one on the inside of the card. And we will be done with the first card. So this is the gatefold card. And then you can put any greeting you want to inside, write a sentiment in it. So that gives you an extra special card to give somebody. Because I know we're all thinking of some people we don't get to see right now since people are still, we're able to get out more than we used to, thank goodness. I know some people are still needing to stay home, so we can send them a card and cheer them up for the day. So there's that card. Now this time I'm going to use the dies. I don't know if I need this, but I'm going to clean it just in case. I don't think I do. You would think I would know since I'm making the cards, but it's easy to forget everything you're going to do. Okay, now I'm going to bring in Rococo Rose. Let me get this ink pad over here. I love this Rococo Rose. This is a current in color, and it's still available for 1 more year. So I'm so glad we've got at least a year to use this. I say at least. You never know if in a few years when they revamp the colors again that this color might come back. So I'm hoping so. I really like this color a lot. So that's my card base. This is just going to be a regular card base for this one. Here is, well, what you do, you take a piece of this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of Whisper White, run it through with the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. And that's the pretty, isn't that pretty? I love the embossing on this one. And the reason I made that a little different is because I wanted to have a different size doing that 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. My regular 4 by 5 1/4, I wanted it to be a matte. So I didn't want it to just be the white against the rose. So we're going to do that. Since it's embossed, I'm going to grab my multi-purpose glue. And go all the way around. Oops, this one's not going to come out. Well, I think I better grab another one. Not sure that was my good one. Sometimes it is so hard to tell when these things go out. That's why I make sure I have a few of them on hand. Much better. This one's coming out good. I love our glue. And I'm going to practice with the new adhesive as soon as I can get it to see how good it does with the embossed layers. But right now I'm going to keep using my glue until, because there is another one that's, like I said, I can't remember the whole name, but they added plus to it, and it's supposed to be a lot, have more adhesive, a stronger adhesive. So you can even do your 3D, like gift boxes and things like that with it. So, okay, we've got that on there. I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the card because I'm not wrapping any ribbon around it. And I'm going to use my snail again since this is flat. I like using my snail when there's no embossing involved. I don't get as much glue on my fingers. Okay, we've got that. Now, to use, this is going to be the big die I use on this one. This is one a little bolder, like I showed you at the beginning of the video. You need a quarter piece of the 8.5 by 11. So this is a 4 1/4 by 5.5. So it's actually a card size, like a card front. And you're going to put this on, it just fits, but this makes it so you can get 4 of these with 1 piece of cardstock. So you're going to run that through your die cutting machine, and you're going to come out with this. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Now I could just put it on there with white, which would look gorgeous, be a really pretty elegant wedding card, but I wanted to add some color to this. So I'm going to grab my Rococo Rose ink pad. Oops, get hold of it. There we go. And a sponge dauber. And I'm going to color in all of these flowers. You want to make sure you have some scrap paper underneath so you don't ruin your workspace. And be very careful. I got a little bit on the leaves. That's okay, because the green, the old olive I'm going to use is actually darker than the Rococo Rose, and it's going to cover it up just fine. But try your best to stay on the flowers and just keep, and I'm kind of doing it round. You can pounce on it if you want to, but I kind of like the effect of rubbing it, like burnishing it, because that gets a nice, gives you different tones too, shades. And this is a little flower, so I'm going to go ahead. Now you could even use more than one color on the flowers too. I just decided to do Rococo Rose. Keep doing this. Almost done. Isn't this pretty? And this is an easy way to get this colored. Now I could have just done this in Rococo Rose too, but I wanted my leaves to be, die cut it out of Rococo Rose cardstock, but then it just would have been one shade. I like being able to get different shades and also be able to make my leaves different color. And then when I got to doing this, I thought, okay, I would like these centers to be a little darker. So these, I do kind of pounce on them because I think it makes it a little darker. So I'm going to get my centers darker than the flowers. So they just look a little bit different from the rest of the flower. Even do it a little bit on the center of these little ones. Okay, I think I got them all. There we go. Now we're going to do the old olive and do the leaves. Now these, I didn't do any pouncing on these. These I just go ahead and do the burnishing. Oop, I got a little too much ink on that one, so I'm going to keep going. That's probably one thing I should have done. That's okay to have that one darker because I kind of like that actually. But if you want to make sure you didn't put too much ink on it, dab a little bit off on your scrap paper, because you can always add more ink you can't take away. Or it's hard to take away, let's put it that way. There we go. So now we've got our leaves and our flowers. Isn't that neat? I really like that. Like I said, looking in the video, you can really see it too. I'm glad. This is a little lighter than the rest of it, so I just like that effect. Makes it look like it's got some sunlight on it. Okay, now I'm going to grab this. It's hard to believe we're almost done with this card. Oh, that's kind of neat. I might have to try that. I don't know if you can see that. That's almost giving like a negative of what I just did. I might have to work on that. That might look cool on a card. Grab my glue here. Oh, thanks, Karen. I'm glad you like my cards. It's sweet. Okay, now I'm going to put glue on the bigger areas. Actually, this one's a little easier. The outline one you'll see here in a minute, that one you have to be a little careful because you don't want to have glue coming out the edges of your die cut. So I'm just going to make sure I get some on the end pieces. And I think I'm going to put one on each flower center here. I'm going to grab my silicone mat. That way I don't get glue on things I don't want glue on. If it gets on the silicone mat, it'll dry and I can peel it off with no problem. I tend to do that a lot when I'm working with die cuts, get this out. Now, with the new catalog, we are going to have adhesive sheets. There we go. Again, I can't wait, and I'll show you how to use those once I'm able to get those. I'm pretty sure they're going to work like they did with the other ones, but it makes it so you can cover this up with those adhesive sheets. You don't have to worry about the glue. Now, I'm going to put this on my card. Actually, I want what side has got more leaves on top. And it's, oops, I forgot to make that green. Oh, well, that's okay. It looks fine. You're probably watching me like, ooh, that's a leaf. That's okay. It still looks good. I could go back and do that, but since I've got the glue on there, I'm not going to worry about it because I could go back over with the olive and it'd probably cover it up just fine. Actually, I just don't want to get any on my white. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. that white cardstock underneath. I don't want to get any green on that. So there we've got that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm having so much fun. I can't believe I didn't think I was going to need this bundle. It's fun to play with. It's gorgeous. Love it. Okay, I'm going to grab a scrap piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to grab the, let's see, this one says, Sure Do Miss You. And I'm going to grab my old olive ink pad again. Stamp that close to the middle. Doesn't, well, for me, in the middle. It just depends on what your scrap paper is. The die I'm going to use, again, this is going to be from those Tasteful Labels. I'm going to use this one right here. Our label dies have become my go-to. I like our So Sweetly, or yeah, I can't remember the name of that one, but Stitched So Sweetly. Love those dies, love these. And I love that some of them are stitched, some of them give a nice indentation for a border. But what you do, you just center that, make sure it's straight, and run it through your die cutting machine. And you are going to come out with this. And I wanted to make sure that banner's on the left, because I'm going to be putting it on like this. So I'm going to put that on with the dimensionals. And we will put one here and one on the other end. And that should hold it pretty good. Grab my Pierce mat, pick these up. There we go. I do that so that they don't fly all over my house. I'm always finding little dimensional backs around my house. There we go. So I tend, if you notice, both my cards have been using smaller greeting pieces because I don't want to deter from that beautiful flower. But see, that was a super quick. Yeah, I know, Linda, I'm the same way. I'm not kidding. When I saw these, I'm like, they're pretty. I just don't know if I'm going to use them, but I have fallen in love. Hi, Diana. Glad you're here. So much fun. I love this. Okay, that was quick and easy. Now I'm going to show you, this is the last card, how the stamped image on here lines up with the dies, with this die right here. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, I love how we've got dies. And you can layer these too, these flower dies. Super cool. I haven't used these little ones yet, but I'm sure I will. So now we've got this one out. That's what I'm going to be using. And let's go ahead. I'll show you. You grab, once again, a piece of Whisper White that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Run that wrong die. I picked up the wrong one. Let's get that one out of the way. Too many dies laying around. So the one that's more of an outline die, that's the one you're going to put on. Just kind of center it there, and you're going to run it through your die cutting machine. And you are going to come out with this. Isn't that pretty? I love that. And all those pieces come out really well. I'm very happy with it. If you have a problem with it, because it depends on your die cutting machine, you might want to put like a piece of, once you make your sandwich, put a piece of copy paper. It doesn't have to be very thick, just a little bit, like the width of this, just a piece of paper on top of the sandwich, and that gives you just a little bit more pressure to get all of them out. But I haven't had any trouble with it. It's been super easy. Even these little dots come out real easy. Okay, so we're going to put that over to the side because I'm not quite ready for that yet. I'm going to grab, make sure I'm getting the right piece here. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White, and we are going to stamp this beauty, and I did not get the purple off on that one, so let's hurry up and do that. I love how they make things coordinate and line up. That's one of the things I've always loved about Stampin' Up. I've been doing this for 17 years now, 17 years last month. So, oh, hi, Dorothy. Glad you're here. But I think it just keeps I can't get over how much better it gets all the time. Okay, I got to make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah, that's the way I want it to go. I'm going to stamp this with Seaside Spray. This is another end color that's still going to be around for another year. Can't wait to get the new ink pads, the new in color ink pads. I've got the cardstock, gorgeous colors. And I used some of those colors in some cards on, in some videos that I did. And if you look in the, either if you're watching on YouTube, I'll have a little card pop up later, not right now, but you can click on that up above if you're watching the recorded version, and go directly to my list, playlist of all my new videos. I've also got that list on the video description of Facebook and YouTube, so you guys can look at that later if you want to. I'm going to stamp this, let's say, about right here. Now this time I didn't sponge anything in the middle, which is fine. You don't have to do that all the time. I just did that on that one card. But see all the different shading in that. I just love that. So we've got that. Love that seaside spray color too. Gorgeous. Okay, now I'm not going to worry about doing the centers because there's centers on that die cut. But let's see here. I want to make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm going to lay this down. See how that lines up? Isn't that pretty? Hopefully I'll get that a little closer for you. There we go. But what I'm going to do, I wanted to color in those flowers with the stamps. There are actually some stamps that work pretty good. Line up. We've got this one that lines up with these. What I'm going to do, let me grab some paper here. One thing I found out, this one's a little small, so you would have to stamp it down into your flower, and I didn't want any green on that flower. So what I took just a couple of the Post-it notes, and I'm going to, let me think how I did this. Okay, I'm going to cover up the edge of that flower just a little bit. Make sure I'm not going to do, oh, it's going to take off too much. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I want to make sure I stay within those petals. There we go, that's how I did it. There's one time I did it and the leaf, I chopped off more of the leaf than I wanted to. This side's no big deal, you just make sure that's covered up there. Grab my, see I'm using soft sea foam. Real pretty pale green, I love this green. I'm going to stamp it. Let me line this back up again so I get an idea where it's at. I'm putting it right up above where I want it. Then I'm going to pull it out and stamp it like so. Now, if I did still put these in the wrong place, because I have a funny feeling I did. See that? It's a little too flat there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to angle this. I knew I would do that wrong. The first time I did it wrong. We can fix it super quick and super easy. I moved it over. Let me get it up here. So now I can fill in those little white areas I've got there so it's not a flat. The other thing you can do is also cut, make a mask for this with the flower and cut around, but I wanted to make it a little easier than that. There, it looks much better, and it is okay that it doesn't match up perfectly right here. We've got a little white spot there. That's going to be covered up by the die. So that's why I didn't bother to make a mask and cut this out perfectly to stamp my leaf, because you really don't need that. But I did want to make it so it wasn't just a straight line. So there, we've got that ready to go. Lay this back down again. Oops. You can also eyeball it and stamp. Help if I did this, lined it up right. You don't have to keep lining this up, because when I did this yesterday, I stamped them. It wasn't quite right. So I just moved the stamp again and stamped it again, because I didn't mind having a little bit of color outside of the die cut, because I thought it still looked really cool that way. Now this one is a little easier because it's more of the leaf. So I'm going to hold my paper down. It's about right there. If I have a little bit go over the blue, it's no big deal. So I think those are all the big leaves. Now I'm going to grab these two leaves. Kind of line it up a little bit. That's a bigger one. Like I said, I don't care if it doesn't, if it goes outside of my die cut. So I know that leaf is right there, so that's pretty close. So we're going to do that there. Line it back up, and if it looks like I need it a little bit more like this one, I didn't angle it just right. I can tell I need it to be a little taller, so I'm just going to go back in, stamp over it again, and that's going to fill it in quite nicely. Oh yeah, that looks good. And it is going outside my die, but I still think that looks cute. Grab my flowers, I think. Oh, nope, I do have some little leaves over here, don't I? Now this one, it's on the edge. And this flower I found out was a lot easier. It's just right there in that little groove where those petals meet. So I'm not even going to worry about lining that one up. Like I said, if you're off a little bit, you just go back and add a little more color to it. Okay, now I've got the leaves all done. Now I've got two flowers. And those I wanted to do in So Saffron. So grab that yellow. Grab my flower. I'm going to lay it down. This one is about there. Like I said, this one I ended up stamping a couple times when I did it because I didn't get it to line up perfectly. And it still looks really good. Oh, that looks fine. Then I know there's one in between these flowers. And it looks like There's just one single petal here sticking out. So that's what I'm going to try to do over here. And then we've got it all done. Now, if you didn't want to mess with all those flowers and the leaves, I've seen cards done without filling in the leaves and the flowers. But I just wanted to play around with that, see if it would work, and it did. Looks pretty good. Now, this I could probably stamp a little bit more because it looks like I needed more of a petal there. So I'm not even lining it up. I'm just kind of filling it in a little bit again. Actually, I think I'm going to move that over a little bit too. There we go. You just keep adding more color until it looks good. Oh, that looks a lot better. Okay, now the way to put this together, because you don't want to have a lot of glue. Oh, I'm seeing a bunch of people on YouTube. Thanks, Cheryl and Sherry. I'm glad you're here. And you do get 2 dies. You would get, it's like 2 sheets of dies in this set, Sherry. So let me grab. Oh, there we go. I had it covered up. So this is the whole die set. So if you get it as the bundle and you get the stamp set, you'll save 10% if you get everything together. But this is 1 die set, and this is the stamp set. So everything, this is all I'm using. Plus this is label set is different for my greetings. That's the layered, tasteful labels. One of these days I'll learn all these names. Get a new annual catalog and have to learn a bunch of new names. Okay, I'm going to grab my snail. As you can see, now this is when I can't wait to get our adhesive sheets. And like I said, I promise to show you how to use those once we are able to order those. But when I use that, I'm going to have adhesive on all of those little intricate pieces, and it's going to be so nice. In the meantime, I'm going to grab my snail, and these leaves are a little thicker than the rest of it, so I'm going to put a little bit here on the ends of that. Here's another set of leaves. And then these flower centers, I'm just putting a little bit on there. I'm not going to mess with all of these little bitty lines. It's just too hard to do. So just places that are a little thicker than the others. And you're going to find it stays on the card with no problem. So let me grab this again. I'm going to line that up. There we go. Hold that down. And it's not sticky. It might be a little sticky. Not too bad. I don't have my... If you have an embossing buddy, I didn't grab mine. I wish we still sold them. But what you do, you can go over anything that might still be sticky, and it'll come right off. I forgot. I do have my adhesive remover. There's a couple places I got a little too much, so I'll take that off. There we go. Now it's not sticky anymore. Isn't that cool? I hope you can. That video's doing it justice. It's so hard to see that sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to grab a Seaside Spray card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5 again. And whenever I fold, I just make sure that these corners meet together, and that makes it a lot easier to do it. Cut it in half, or fold it in half, I mean. We're going to put some snail on the back of this. But I love how with the stamp set, you can make cards that are that just look like you have been working on them all day. I'm getting all these done. 3 cards done. I went over a bunch of work stuff. I mean, neat stuff like my virtual party, our 2 promotions for June. And if you missed those, because a lot of you came on late today, you can watch the beginning of the video and find out about those. I'm starting a new Facebook group, and you'll want to learn about that. So here's that. But I love how this looks so intricate, and I got it done in a few minutes. Now, I do still have a greeting to put on. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of my Seaside Spray, a lot bigger than what I needed, but I just grabbed a stack or a scrap from my pile. And let's see here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'll show you here in a minute. I had forgotten to use 1 stamp on my gatefold card, but you'll get to see, but I'll show it to you. That way you can see the 2 different looks you can get, because I actually like both of them. Okay, I'm doing the thank you stamp. And let me show you the stamp set again. I just love that we've got all of these greetings to go along with it too. Okay, so grab my, there we go, basic gray ink pad. I could have done the black, but I wanted to use basic gray because I thought it would look better with this color scheme. I'm going to stamp it. Doesn't matter if it's not centered or anything. I'm going to grab that banner one I used on the first card. And you put that on there and run it through your Big Shot, or whatever die cutting machine you have. And you will come out with this. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Let me grab, oh, there they are. It is so easy to throw things around and not find them later. I'm sure some of you can relate. Whenever I craft, I'm always covering things up. Okay, let's see what Cindy was saying. There's a little bit of learning curve. I was surprised. I didn't have to work that hard to figure it out, though. I was happy with it. Like I said, I just got this out yesterday. I literally made all these cards yesterday. So if I could make them that quick. Actually, no, wait a minute. I think I did start a little bit the night before. But I didn't have any problem with it. I was really happy with how easy it was. And I think I'm just going to put that right there. I could put some ribbon on there. Actually, I think I did put ribbon on my first one. Forgot to do that part, but that still looks good without that. I'd like to put the least amount of stuff on here so I don't cover up those flowers, but I thought it did need some bling. So I'm going to use, these are called frosted, I can never remember the whole name, frosted and clear epoxy droplets. Now, this is the partial one, of course. It comes with different sizes, small and large. These are the clear, and these are the frosted ones, and I'm using 2 of the small ones. The big one I thought was just way too big. I'm going to put that here on the end of each one. Okay, there we go. I thought that just set it off, adding a little bit of bling to it. So there's that card. So let me get all the cards out for those of you that came in a little late. Oh, and I do want to show you my gatefold. So these were the last 2 I made. You see all the different looks you can get. And I've got some other looks I've got in my head. I just couldn't make them all for today. This was the one I just made at the beginning of the video. Let me grab the one that I made yesterday, because there's a stamp to get these dots in the middle. So that gives you 2 total. I'm actually glad I forgot, because that gives you totally different looks. I think I like both of them. I'm not sure which one I like better. Which one do you like better? The one with the dots in the middle or just the yellow? I really like that a lot. So let me just show you all of these. And that's the gatefold with that on the inside. Well, let's show you the one that I didn't mess up with the yellow. There we go. That's what it should look like without extra ink spots. I didn't even know about that one. Must have had some ink on my fingers. Okay, so there are my first 3 cards, actually 4 cards, with the Blossoms and Bloom bundle. And like, if you did come in late, you can watch the video as soon as I end it, and you'll be able to see the other cards being made. So I'm glad you could all make it today. I know Fridays, a lot of times everybody's trying to get ready for the weekend. So I'm really glad you're able to join me today. And I hope you have a great weekend. Let me switch to me again. There we go. So you're just not staring at cards. But I'm super glad you're here. I will be back again next Friday at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, with another live. And I'm not sure what I'm making. It'll be a surprise. But then, and when I show you new stuff, you're going to be able to order them right away. You're not going to have to wait till Wednesday. I'm so glad it's next week. I love the new catalog. And if you haven't seen one yet, or if you don't have a demonstrator and you live in the U.S., please contact me if you would like to get a new catalog if you don't have one, and I'll get one mailed out to you. If you're on Facebook, just message me. You're on Facebook on my Create with Christy page, or if you're on YouTube, there's a contact me link at the bottom in the video description. So I think that's it. I hope you had fun and have a great weekend and stay safe.